All right, so in this video, I'm going to do a review of Doom playing this strategy. So I'm going to show you the end of the strategy and how it turned out at 33 minutes, which is great. How it turned out, a great base. This is interesting because this was a duo where Doom was had to really try hard because one of his teammates got shut down on his blueprints because that was me. I had a bug that glitched my blueprints. And then the other team had two good players and two other players that knew what they were doing. And so we had a real fight on our hands of being down a player. So this is all about a critique of this build from Doom. So by the way, I'm your host, nightreaper. And so this is a critique not of Doom, but on the build. And particularly, I want to look at how how could this very good player, 2,200 elo player Doom, who built this base while I assist builded and played in the base without blueprints. This base turned out very good, and I'm saying, how about if a 5 million elo player played it? So I'm going to armchair quarterback. One thing I want to note is that the strategy he's using is like the way he built the base. It makes perfect sense. He did very well. This is the 33rd minute in game. Of course, his base is bigger than and better because he had me to assist build him. And we'll make a couple notes about that along the way. And first, I want to tell you why this strategy is outdated. So his theory that his working strategy is he's going to use the fountains of health to keep his necrotic towers alive. And of course, he wants more fountains of health to make sure his necrotic towers stay alive. And to get more fountains of health, he has to do more rerolls to find more fountains of health. And so he's at two fountains of health. He has a huge base here. He clearly has a lot of rerolls, probably over 250, maybe 300 rerolls, even more at the 33rd minute. And that's thanks to a great economy that he kept up and my assist building on his gold mines throughout the first 25 minutes of the game and so forth for the assist building role that I was stuck in from this blueprint bug. And anyway, back to the strategy part. That's what this video is about. So why is the strategy outdated? It's a very meta strategy, and but there's the problem is that if you don't have maybe six fountains of health with enough mana crystals and regeneration, you're not going to be able to keep your necrotic towers alive because you could get void stasis. So if he tries to get his DPS maxed out, turns on his fountains of health, I'd say it was really, really important that his DPS was maxed out. And then the enemy void stasis, his fountain of health, like right in this moment, he probably would have lost the game if the enemy team of void stasis had two players and void stasis these fountains because his necrotics would stop doing damage and that tower would get finished off, or this wall here would get finished off. So that's why the strategy is obsolete. It's because he doesn't have the miners in the center of these necrotics. On the one hand, that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is, so let's say we don't want to put our miners in the middle of the necrotic towers. We want to keep our miners in the gold field. And we want to continue building gold mines because we know it's a lot of bonus gold compared to players that do not have gold mines. Even when you have 600, 700 passive income, like these two players do. Oh, look, Doom's passive income is 666. So mine's 589. I I did a whole lot of sends. He built a lot of gold farms, so he's still ahead of me on incomes. Now, back to the strategy. What do? We don't want to put the miners in the middle of that. So we're gonna find out two ways, or at least yeah, we're gonna find at least one more way to make this strategy that's a really strong meta strategy even stronger, and not have this problem with too few fountains of health, and what we can do to compensate for that, without just pulling all of our miners to repair the towers, because we don't want to do that if we don't have to. All right, so I really tried to lay the groundwork for every newbie to understand there, and also everyone who can follow along in complete sentences. Hopefully, you get what I'm talking about. The strategy is very good. It's close to meta. It has a glitch, or it's a bugged strategy, or it's too weak. It has a flaw. What's it called? What's like the chess term? It's got a flaw. And so we're going to figure out how to compensate for that flaw. We identified the flaws that an enemy could shut down the two fountains of health and knock out so much of your DPS, which would have lost us the game here. So let's review the whole the whole game that was really a glorious. So let this take nothing away. This is a beautiful build up. So Doom really maximized on the fact that he ended up with an assist builder for the game, and so here's where my punji sticks. I tried to cast the punji sticks and then go into the barrel, and it glitched out. No more blueprints. I ran to Doom's base, and here I am at the 13th minute, and I've just been hanging out, doing a little bit of assist building, and mostly trying to make sure I can get my cute link sends in so my income can grow. Now, Doom does a great job building up. We're at the 13th minute, so he diversifies into a mana aura, big expenditure. He's been laying down these gold farms. He really, I think there's a really solid critique here. These gold farms should at least have grassy fields, and the gold farms should actually be spread out throughout the base and have maximum grassy fields, would be super optimal, like right here. And you'll see what I mean when I say if he had grassy field here, it would make sense. All right, but other than that, this is a great build up so far. He did a really tight, thin defense with an enchanted wall, punji sticks, and the multi-shot. Squeezed in a damage aura. I don't know what his rerolls are, but they're probably over or about 100. He's kept a whole bunch of gold mines going and plenty of miners, so those are fresh gold mines because I'm assist building on the gold mines, which is a big help. Let's skip to the next frame. Okay, here I happen to be in the video spying on one of my teammates. He's chilling. He's making it a pretty good base. Okay, so here's Doom's monster base in progress, and we've seen it evolve. Let's just take it, see if we get a little more in the frame. Okay, so all of this is very solid for 23rd minute. It makes sense that he'd be stacking the moon wells and have a moderate number of speed auras. He's got his multi-shots in. Makes a lot of sense because they need to train to get the extra shots over time. He plopped in Keeper of the Grove, and he's got these mana auras that are going to really help carry the energy needs of those moon wells. So he did get the Fountain of Health, #1, and it's up here. This is not good because it's out of range of the mana auras. This Fountain of Health really should be over here. And the mana crystals could start being placed up here. And it's very good progress. He's really kicking ass. I'm trailing him in this. Let's just watch. I have it basically muted. And so how is this 23rd minute going for me in first person? This video is on me, nightreaper, first person, and I'm still following him around, helping him keep his gold mines going and build pretty much every other thing because I've started to get enough income to do some PvP sense. And so there's the base progressing. 24th minute. So let's see how it really grows. And so just keep in mind, this is 24th minute. We have six speed auras, some tower, four multi-shot, and these moon wells. Let's get to the 30th minute or maybe 28. Here we're checking out the teammate space. It's growing. Okay, so let's get to that 28th minute then. All right, 20th minute, we went from six speed auras to nine speed auras, three necrotics. Looks like two damage auras came in. So he's been re-rolling. I think this is additional four new moon wells. So he's just programmed right now. He's really patterning, and he's opening up his before that 30 minutes, where 25 minutes to 30 minutes, he's really opening up his game as far as build the stuff that he needs to survive the 30-minute wave and elementalings. And so he's all in powering up what his base is and what he planned out. His speed auras, the necrotics are coming in. Of course, every damage aura he gets. And his focus is really in stacking those moon wells. As you can see, that's what he spent a lot of time building. He's got more than four, I think four new moon wells. And he's getting those mana crystals in. All right, the mana crystals are a little bit late, right? They take 7 minutes in game time to charge up, if you believe it. It's a long time. It might be more like 4 minutes, could be up to 7 minutes. And so back to saying, what can we do to play the strategy better? Like we had 1 million elo or better, better than a million, but millions of elos. So here's what I'm seeing. If you want to put mana crystals in for your fountains, put them in sooner. Fountain needs to be over here in the mana auras, as I mentioned earlier. And since he's stacking moon wells, he could totally skip that speed auras. All right. So he could have skipped all three of those speed auras. Oh, and the difference is, so he could re-roll more with that gold. And if he continues re-rolling, he's going to be more likely to get the fountains of health that he needs. So even forget all the criticisms, if his base is basically perfect right now, because optionally he could choose to bring the miners in and make them repair the necrotic as backup. If he noticed that he had too few fountains of health, he probably should have done that. And but since it looks like he was really honed in on his pure meta dream strategy for this game is to get the Fountains of Health out, have his whole DPS on autopilot, still mine gold, and hustle his huge boss sends, and or continue building up the base. So I'm saying, how could you really break the barrier? He's already at 2200 elo. He knows he's playing his tits off because the cutelings are super strong, and he knows the cutelings are super strong, so he can't just cruise along while I help with assist build. He said, let's max it out because we're against these other two good players on the Western team. And so the notes here are, so he made it to this point, and since he failed to get enough fountains and mana crystals ready, he ought to have gone ahead and pulled his miners from the gold mine and brought them here. Now, let's say that's the default that you'd have to default to. If he did not hit this fail condition for the strategy at this moment in the game time, uh, a way he could have squeezed out more rerolls is actually ignore the speed auras, right? Don't build those. Continue rerolling and gear up to the next level. So this is the concept I want to bring up. If he gears up to the next level, what does that mean? He's gearing up. I'm talking about his reroll. If he gears his reroll to like 20 gold reroll cost, he's going to begin rerolling a lot more. And the way as to do it is kind of magical. So if his reroll was 55 gold because he was cranking away at it, and then he gets a speed aura that he could build for 52 gold. He should build cancel. He should conjure with the speed aura. If it's his cheapest blueprint, a 42 gold speed aura, he should, and his reroll is 55, let's say, he should conjure with the speed aura, not with the Venom Tower, and not with the Obelisk. And he shouldn't just use the gold reroll button. He should conjure with the speed aura. And so this would help him gear up, is what I'm calling it right now. Maybe, yeah, that's the slang for it. His reroll is going to be geared up to like 20, 40 minimum. And what would happen is he would get more rerolls in, and he would find more fountains of health, more damage auras, more defense auras, stuff that's really magical right now. And that 20th minute going into that 30th minute. And as he goes through to that 33rd minute, his base would be then ready for the speed auras. And because those come very quickly, being only uncommon. And so he could then pretty quickly go from 6 speed auras to 12 and build gold mines on the side and find super rare things as you usually do while you're finding out what your next set of blueprints are. So that's my major critique. So this is how I would fix this strategy. Otherwise, is uh, the thing is, if you don't luck into enough fountains of health by the 30th minute, and you got 300 rerolls, and you might still only have 2 fountains of health, and you should bring the miners in. Okay, there is one other thing to do though. One more trick to improve this meta strategy and get around the the bug, the problem where you can have your fountains void stasis. Okay, let's skip to the next frame then. Watch a little bit of footage to ease our minds. All right, let's just take it easy. Okay, so we went from the 20th minute to the 32nd minute. He really had his plan laid out and he worked it perfectly. It seems everything about the base is perfect, except if the enemy void stasis those fountains, the necrotic damage goes away, and we would have lost that game. So we figured out how to fix that. If we don't hit our fountains number, maybe 3 or 4 fountains, then we have to bring the miners in to do repair, and we lose a lot of gold farm power. But that's okay. We can then continue to build miners nonetheless. So that's one way that this strategy could be improved. We covered that really thoroughly. Uh, we learned, particularly, I pointed out this concept of gearing up the rerolls to really get to the next level without just having any bones about it. You just conjure and get your reroll number, your gold cost higher. Continue building the gold mines, and that helps you get to the next level of searching your blueprints for the rare blueprints. And perhaps you would have found more damage or defense or fountains, mana crystals, Perhaps a night well, if night well was not banned. Blacksmiths, so you get more upgrades. And so we got the gearing up concept somehow to get faster, searching the deck for rares. And now, so now this other one is a trick of that works really well with this meta strategy. So just as it is, except he lucked into more fountains, or he did more rerolls and got more fountains. But here we have it. So if he puts a drain tower and a brick wall, first off, a brick wall on each necrotic tower. And if he puts a drain tower right here, uh, when he limit breaks these necrotic towers, they will survive to a much higher level. Or if he somehow incorporated drain towers along this outside and suffuse on the drain towers, limit break on the necrotic towers, and a brick wall for a shield on each necrotic tower. That would make these towers survive a really long time in limit break. And even if a bunch of the fountains of health got turned off by void stasis or other effects and happenstance, that a round of drain towers here would absolutely keep these necrotics alive long enough for void stasis to wear off in all likelihood, and then the fountain could be turned back on and everything could go back to being peachy keen. So the trick there is that the drain tower suffuse that heals shields up to 2 squares away would repair these necrotic towers when they were in limit break mode. Now here it would not help. The drain tower and shield repair does not help necrotic towers until they have limit break. Come to think of it, he could have goblin harvesters as well, and he chose not to play the goblin harvester. Anyway, a great game from Doom. It was fun tagging along. Assist building way too slow for the first 25 minutes on my PvP income, and just increasing the Qling level. That's kind of whatever. Enjoyable though to see this fellow player with of skill really max out on having an assist builder, and the game came together really well because we won it. So I'm really happy with it. Hope you enjoyed the video and got something from it. And our time together reviewing this play-by-play of this powerful meta build. Until next time, this is nightreaper signing off.